night feels like Christmas Eve, living between Wednesdays.
What's up, folks? I'm your host, Konrad, on Wednesday Night Reviews. And once again, we are joined by Trey of Raze Comics. Trey, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me back. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Always happy to help good indie comic artists get their stuff out. So, Trey, just like last time, we'll start with that easy question. So for the folks out there watching live and or checking this out in the next 19 days, which is the timeline left on your Kickstarter, maybe for those who have never seen your face, never heard your name, who is Trey?
So I am the co-creator / co-writer and former artist of Raze Comics. We are an indie comic creators out of Boston, Mass. Kind of new to the comic scene, I guess what you would call kind of new. We've been doing this for quite a few years now, but we've got some Kickstarters going. We got a lot of content out there, so great stuff happening right
now. I dig it. And as mentioned, we are here to talk about Raze. So for the folks who haven't seen it as of yet, because we are on number 6, let them know sort of what Raze is about up to the current issue.
Yeah. So Raze, when we start off with issue 1, we kind of drop you into, the story. We don't know, there's no real build up. So you're introduced to a few characters and they're on a bridge, and out of nowhere, they get attacked by a set of infected individuals. Now our characters do have to kind of struggle to survive that ordeal, and they do meet up with another group of strangers. Now they have to, of course, work together to try and get out of danger. Now in doing so, they do make their way to a junkyard. And at the junkyard, unfortunately, it's not what they thought it was, because now someone is infected and he is on the loose with a missing child. So issue 6 will pick up right where 5 left off. After the hunt for the child, we have come to a hidden warehouse.
I love it. And again, there is the sort of opening image for Raze, number 6. One of the things that I highly enjoyed the last time myself, and Sam, the other co-creator, talked was the fact that your characters in Raze, unlike a lot of things like The Walking Dead, which is sort of the massive zombie comic that exists currently, a lot of your characters were ill-prepared and were not overly opportunistically educated or experienced. So you didn't have like a doctor, a soldier, a psychologist. You had like school teachers, regular people, and just they weren't having a good day of it.
Right.
I guess just to start off, in those first 5 issues, how have they roughly fared? And did you when you were creating it and writing it along with Sam, did you two end up realizing that some characters survived that you didn't think they would?
Actually, quite the opposite. So some characters survived, but then some, while we were writing, like, maybe this character is not cut out for this. This is going to happen quite down the road, so no real spoilers there, but as we're kind of going along with each character and where their growth is, we say, oh, I don't know if this one's going to make it. I don't know if this guy's cut out for it. So we try to keep as many as we can, but as you said, it looks like it's going to turn in another direction.
Exactly. And for the folks out there, again, I've compared it to The Walking Dead and zombies. And even some of my tweets and things, I've mentioned zombies, apocalypse, monsters, because the things in your book, the creatures that go bump in the night, the infected, they're not zombies, really. Can you describe them for the folks out there who maybe they're a little tired of zombies but want something a little spooky for Halloween season?
Right. So we have infected. It's still, I guess you would call it an umbrella term under zombies, but our creatures are very much alive. And now the other thing with them is they're very animalistic in nature. And I guess you can almost call them kind of mutant-like. They're super fast. They're super strong. Um, there is more than meets the eye to them. They're always evolving as well. So, they're not your traditional slow kind of moving zombie. They are a much more deadly force to deal with.
I love it. And sort of what made you want to go that direction as opposed to like a classic zombie or some other monster?
It was definitely a hard decision because when we first started this, we set out to make them zombies, but we always, prioritize ourselves, or we always, try and say we want to capture that in between moment of turning into a zombie. And we just fleshed out that in between so much where we said, maybe we don't do zombies, maybe we kind of just leave them as is, and this will be what the creature is. So it just turns out there's more that we can kind of work with. Because once something's dead, that's really it. Of course, you can cut off the limb, not that's great, but there's something more to something being alive. And I think, being able to actually kill these things just adds more of a accomplishment and just more for us to work with in terms of like, the story.
I dig it. That's one of the things that I found interesting was the way that the characters in your story are written, the way that the monsters move, what they do, how they react. Yeah, there was a life and an urgency to the story that we didn't get with other zombie stories because, well, zombies are slow and they're not exactly intelligent. But yeah, some of the scenes, especially on that bridge, highly enjoyed. I guess going into issue 6, one, is this concluding the first arc, or is there more to come?
So there's a little more to come. Not to go too much. So with 6, what you guys will find the big thing for this is, one, we find out what happens to the child that we left off in the cliffhanger from 4 and 5. There will be something going on as far as us revealing how this thing kind of spreads. So do a little bit more information about that as well. After 6, we've got about 3 issues left of this arc. So we kind of split up a little bit weird. So right now we're in what we call the Junkyard arc, which started on issue 4. 1 through 3 was kind of like a little prologue, introduction. Issue 4 started the Junkyard arc. That will go on until issue 9. Now 9 might be a little bit of a longer issue because we have huge things planned for that. We're going to go out with a bang, I'd like to say. And then issue 10 is when the next arc will pick up.
Oh, nice. Okay. It's already in the plan. I dig it. That's usually my next question because I'm always curious. By the time a comic series like Raze gets into issue 6, 7, and so on, there's a life to it, sustained sort of, it's become its own thing. So yeah, I always like to ask what the next arc or the next chunk of story. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're on issue 6. There are 19 days to go, so if you want to go check it out, right on screen, punch that into Kickstarter, back it, get the book, and enjoy. Now, what an important question that I want to ask Trey is, this is number 6, issue 6. For the folks out there who've never seen it before, who are just really into monsters and want to check out some good horror, what options do you have for sort of the back catalog, if you will, of the first 5 issues?
Let's see. So you can pick up the first 5 issues. We'll have many places to get them. One, you can get them from our Kickstarter as well. That is one of the tiers. And then 2, we are currently available on Global Comics. That's a huge catalog of comic books. Feel free to check us out. We were, not to throw in horn, we were, I think, number 2 in the horror category. I think it was last year. And then we should also be available a place called Crypto Comics Marketplace. We do have our issues up there as well. So we do have quite a few things to check out in order to get our issues, but you can also check us out on Twitter as well. We should have more information about that.
Ooh. Bear with me. I'm actually just on. Love it. You know what? I'll directly put this link on here. So the link on screen will actually take folks to the first chapter if they wanted to check that out.
Awesome.
Like you said, for $30, 42 Canadian, they can actually go ahead and get the first 6 copies, just all bundled together nicely. I love it, and it looks like just in time for Christmas, if all goes well. Which, again, knock on wood, I so very much hope you have 0 issues when it comes to anything regarding printing.
Right. That never goes smooth, unfortunately.
Yeah, I literally I've interviewed something like, I think like 100 people now, or different creators or teams, and one person has said it's gone really smooth for me, and they're like, knock on wood, I want to keep it going. Everyone else is like, no, there's more. So I wish you the best. Absolutely. And hello to Bronze Age Nerd. How you doing?
What's going on?
So you mentioned earlier, you're the former artist on the issue,
Yes.
or of the series. What's going on there, Trey?
So when we did issue 5, that's the issue that I did. I guess I was always kind of an interim artist because we had well, quite a few artists beforehand. So we had a different artist on 1 and 2. We had a few artists before that, and we were trying to find another one, but we didn't want to kind of lose momentum. So I kind of stepped in, I got an issue done and whatnot, and it was great and all. But trying to draw for a comic while working, 10 plus hours a day just didn't kind of work out, unfortunately. But we have our new artist Vin, and I gotta tell you, being this art project, we're very picky about who we choose to hop on board. But we knew from a while we wanted to go a little bit more of like a manga style kind of look to it, and he fit the mold perfectly. And since he's been on board, he's been absolutely excellent. I mean, we start this off with 8 characters, and usually when we start, it's hard to kind of get the characters down or what they look like, the personalities, and he got them all right away. So hats off to him. He's doing an amazing job. And if you guys can only see the pages he's done for us so far, which you'll see pretty soon when this issue comes out, it's absolutely fantastic. It fits the theme and style of the story. So we're very fortunate.
Hell yeah. Like the pages that are up, just to confirm, because that's the Kickstarter, this is from issue 6, correct?
Correct.
You could not have better picked, I think, an artist to do sort of a manga style take on sort of American comics. That's incredible. So, what to ask next? You know what? I guess we'll stay with the artist. So again, what's the artist's name?
So his name is Vin. I don't want to butcher the last name, so I'll leave it just as Vin. You'll have his name down there when we have the Meet the Team section in the bottom portion of the Kickstarter. It's way down there.
And I mean, just checking out some wicked covers.
Oh, that cover is actually done by him as well.
That one.
And that will be our first foil cover for our series. So don't want to miss out on that reward.
So there's Sam, our other the other writer and co-creator. Oh, look, it's you.
Yours truly. There we go. Vin Olivera.
What a name. I love it. So he goes by Vin?
We call him Vin. He hasn't corrected us so far, so it must be okay.
Fair, yeah, no, Vin, that's got to be working. I love the way that these portraits are all being done. I'm assuming Vin is doing the portraits as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, the use of the word has totally left my brain, but the dot effect of comic printing in the shadowing, very nice. Love it. Well, absolutely. There's the name. Go check him out. Because yeah, he's killing this issue so much.
The issue, the cover, the banner he also drew. And what's amazing about the banner he drew is, so I actually built that scene in a 3D program. So I built it, and then he kind of added some effects, and he like just re-sketched the whole thing. I looked at my 3D model. So this guy is absolutely amazing.
That's cool. So I guess you've worked with so many different artists now. Um, yeah, we'll go with this path, and I'm going to come back to Vin. Now that you've worked with so many different artists, yourself included, what has it been like to adjust to Vin, and also sort of what have you learned along the way about communicating with them about how to make the book?
I guess I would say it's equal parts of, we want to make sure that the overall design is something that we're okay with, but also we want to give them a little bit of creative freedom. Art is a way to express yourself, and I feel like if there's too many guidelines for an artist, they don't have that expression. It's not as fun for them. And because that's how I was when I was drawing. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, it just has to be fun.
Yeah,
Granted,
exactly.
it was because it was our project, but we always want to make sure that he's enjoying it. Um, maybe we try and talk as many times as we can. Throughout the week. We have phone calls normally, which we didn't have with previous artists. It was more so like emails and texts. Um, so there'll be video calls, phone calls. So it's always just communicate absolutely everything. Because the other thing is, he's helping us live our dream. You know what I mean? So we're forever grateful to him. Whatever we can do to make this easy process, we absolutely do.
I love it. That's a fantastic way to put it. Like, it's one of the reasons I always ask, like, how did you find your artists? How did you come across them? How do you like working with them? All that kind of stuff. I like asking that because it's so interesting where comics being a medium where yourself and Sam have written and created this world, and I'm sure even maybe between you and Sam, the way that everything plays out, the events, the way they all look maybe a little different to both of you. So now you've got this third person who's trying to render it all. So it's cool to hear how you're able to communicate. I'm assuming if it's a phone call, they're within sort of a reasonable time of you. I'm assuming then they're in the States as well, or maybe in the time zone at least.
He is from Brazil.
Ah,
So not necessarily exactly the same, but we always try to make time wherever we can. So he's very accommodating as well with time frames too. So it all works itself out.
that's fantastic. And I guess what piece of art of his or what explanation, like what about him made you and Sam want to settle on Vin, and what made him sort of write for it? Was there like a single piece, or was it just a moment of conversation?
So and Sam originally found him. I forgot what medium he was searching for an artist, but I think Vin had just posted his work. I think it was like a forum, or there was like this huge section of artists, and he did very well in terms of action, which is
Oh,
something that's going to be big, because drawing a stationary character out, that's one thing, but really showing the dynamics of movement and, things like combat, which will be a huge thing moving forward with this series. So we wanted somebody who would be good at doing just that.
nice. I dig it. And you know what, Trey? We're at about 20 minutes, which is normally when I actually end up getting to ask this question. So, can you walk us through the different tiers that are available, so that way folks who've maybe never done a Kickstarter before, they don't know about it, they don't know what's familiar with it. Sort of, I guess, can we cover the least expensive option for someone to just get in, and then from there, if you want to walk us through maybe some of the more robust options, and that way we can sort of get to know the campaign.
Yes. So starting off from our first tier, that's going to be our most basic one. You get a copy of issue 6 digitally. Those who have the previous issues, this will be the best option, or even just the most affordable. We want to make sure we can get an issue to as many hands as we can. Sometimes people have X amount of dollars to invest, but we want to make sure that there is something for everyone. So $5, you get issue 6, the new style. You pick up the middle of the story. It's not too much references to other things, so you can still kind of follow along. But hopefully you enjoy it enough to where you want to read it.
Of course.
Let's see, and then our next tier, we will have issue 6, physical. And we've learned from, this is only our second Kickstarter, but physical, there are just certain people, and I don't blame them, who want to hold something in their hand. Being able to collect things physically, just having it there is just a different feeling. So we also make sure that we can accommodate both our digital readers and physical as well. Let's see, and then actually, if you scroll to the bottom of the main part of Kickstarter, we should have another breakdown of our tiers.
Oh, here?
Just should be a bit easier or bigger.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Story, all this amazing art, the gore, the monsters, creepy faces, our wonderful cast of characters. God, I love your covers.
Hats off to Ivan Lugemer. He does amazing covers. He's done every single one from issue 1 to 6. It should be right below that.
Here we are. Oh, yeah. Much better visual. Perfect. Yeah, $5 for the digital, 15 for physical.
So, next one. We do have a variant cover. Now, we did a little collaboration with one of our friends from the indie comic community, specifically the zombie indie community. So, our friend Lori from Path of the Hellrider and her an artist, Marco, who does all the artwork for Path of the Hellrider, amazing artist. So we collabed with him on doing this cover here. Now, this is very special because this is our first ever all-white cover, because every cover we do has a black background, like a dark kind of look to it. This is the first one where it has a white kind of brighter background to it. So he absolutely killed it. We gave him a basic concept, and he just kind of went to town with it. So $20, you can get that very special cover there.
That's fantastic. I hope Lori as well, and that her artist is as well. Clearly killing on the work. All right.
Next tier. This is the big one. Catch-up tier. So you will get issues 1 through 6 digital, so you can get all caught up and make sure you are ready for when number 7 drops. Now, when that's going to happen, I'm not too sure just yet. We do have that already written, and then we'll be working on that very soon. But if you want to get caught up and make sure you know where we're at and you're ready to go, this will be the tier for you.
Love it. Again, just that array of covers. This is so good. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So this one you get catch up again, but you also get the very special foil cover. So if you want a little cover, a little extra flair, we can kind of get that done for you at that next tier there.
How does it feel having your first foil cover?
It feels, I don't know how they do it. Actually, our PR guy who kind of does like the socials and whatnot, Cody, he actually suggested that, and it was absolutely a fantastic idea. As soon as we heard it, like, yeah, we got to do it. Just kind of spice things up a little bit with the variants. But to me, it looks absolutely fantastic.
I dig it. I did want to ask Trey, do you prefer digital comics or physical?
There is something about a physical. Once I've had the physical comics, now I've had physical comics as a kid, and it didn't really kind of click as much because I would just read it, I'd bend the pages, and treat it very poorly. But I have physical comics here that I just don't touch. From the ones that I've backed, if I can get 2 copies of the same comic, one I can actually read through and one I just keep in the plastic, just because having it there's something about after making a comic, having something that came from someone's head to this physical thing is just a different feeling. It's nice to have them on hand digitally, but I think I do lean towards physical.
Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Agreed. I'm very much giving me the physical. Fantastic. And what else we got here? Oh,
Ah, yes.
by
So
the way,
here is a tier I kind of wish, was out there when we first started. So any other creators out there who have something that they're working on and you want to get it into, people's eyes, you want them to see it, we are offering some ad spaces here. There are limited spaces available, but for $50, you can spread your project to who knows how many people. Again, just to bring it back, we were, number 2 on Global Comics. I think we have maybe it was something a few thousand page reads or something like that. So, right off the bat, if we're continuing that route, you can get your project in the eyes of other people. So $50, you can get an ad in our book.
I think that's so cool. It's also, to me, especially if someone's doing a Kickstarter or other crowdfunding, I think what's cool is the people who are going to see that ad very specifically in a physical sense are going to be people who've actually bought your book too. On top of, yes, like global comics and stuff, but for sure you're tapping directly into people who want to get indie comics, who are known backers. That's such a cool idea. Is that just something you wanted to have at the time, so now you're giving people the chance? Is that something that you've come across now that you're sort of later into the series? Like, how did that come about?
So hats off to our PR guy, Cody, again, because this is another one of his amazing ideas. But previously, or at least the indie community, I always see they try to, give, a shout out to the other creators, or, if you get a certain tier, you'll get another book. And they're always, doing these great ways to kind of spread the word of the indie community. So we just figured, what's another way we can do it without having to, get somebody to send us a book, physical book or whatever. Or,
Yeah,
it's another way to kind of spread the word, without having to do too much.
I dig it. Like, that's such a cool idea. One thing, just sort of a general note to the people watching, one thing I highly appreciate is sort of the ingenuity of folks who are doing Kickstarters, because between literally getting your project in front of known backers or other indie people who are into indie comics, which is a very niche sort of avenue that you've got to target people on. I saw another campaign where they were basically doing adopt a page where you could donate basically the cost of the artist page rate, and as a result of that, when the book gets printed, your name will be page adopted by Konrad or whoever. And then there's just so many other interesting little ways that people are trying to spread the word, spread the love, get people involved. So thank you for doing stuff like that, Trey. That's really cool, man.
We definitely try.
Hell yeah.
And you're going to love this one. Let's see, we did this one before, actually. So you can get drawn in as a character in the book. Now, we did do this back in issue 1. We actually held a little contest, and the winner we drew from a hat. They got drawn in as an infected person. I can't guarantee you what role you're going to get. I can't guarantee if you live or die. But for $75, you will be immortalized in Raze Comics.
I love it. Oh, you've already got someone going for it. I love it. Because I've seen this done a few times, and I love this. I think this is the coolest thing. You've got 4 total spots, 1 already taken, so there's only 3 left people can get in on. When you're scripting this, or maybe maybe it's up to Vin at this point to block it out, what's the discussion about to accommodate that? Because I assume if you have a big rampaging scene, especially sort of earlier on the bridge where there was a lot of people and movement, that as the story goes on, I find your cast of characters you're really looking at kind of narrows down to your core. So yeah, what kind of blocking needed to be done in order to accommodate that?
So it's actually kind of, at least we've got the hang of it now. So we always plan ahead when we know there's going to be issues with multiple characters. at any kind of arc or setting where there's going to be a few people, when you have the opportunity to do it, we'll also throw the idea out there. But it makes it very easy in terms of character design, because we want to make the side characters stand out. Something we had in issue 1 was making every side character look like a real person, not just this extra.
Yeah.
In issue 1, it took us a while. We were just like researching and just like finding regular people. Oh, we put his hairstyle with his clothing, and let's add some like earrings to it. But doing this is a way to make a real character very, very easily.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like, again, it's the coolest thing to me. I've done it a few times actually. Whether it's myself, I've got myself as a wizard. I've got myself on a cover just as me.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I love that stuff. So folks out there, get in on this. It's 75 US, 103 Canadian. There's only 3 spots left, and you can find yourself in the apocalypse. I love this stuff. Now I'm noticing a big 200. What's going? Oh,
that's right.
Nice.
It's like you can tell the future. So $200, you can adopt a page. So, like you said, once you adopt a page, that page has been funded by you. You own that page. So, if you like it, you will also get a print of it as well. So it's not just like, hey, you see this book I got, that page was funded by me. No, you will get a printout, and it's a decent size too, that you can just kind of hang up, and that way anybody comes over, you can let them know, hey, that page is my page.
That's sick. I'm picturing in my brain, like me being the collector I am, like I hang comics. I've got a big poster Jim Lee signed for me with some comics above it. Over, you're actually going to see this one. This is a map of Icewind Dale from the Forgotten Realms with magic cards of all the characters from that story. And I am picturing someone who gets this, someone who's awesome enough to fund a whole page for you. I'm picturing like a nice black frame. It's got to be black because of Raze.
Right.
And then the print alongside the comic just beautifully sat there, with their name right on it. I think that looks so cool. Right. So yeah, folks, $200. You will literally be the reason that a page exists in a comic, which is sick. And you get an 8x11 print, which is actually the size of, if it's being drawn physically, the size of a standard comic page. That's just dope. Like, Trey, that's so cool, man.
Appreciate that. Like, once again, hats off to Mr. Cody.
Go Cody.
Let's see. And then our very last tier, you will get a custom 11x17 print of yourself drawn as an infected. So if you're leaning one way or another, you don't want to be a regular person, you want to be Savage infected, you want a drawing of it, we will get you just that. And that is our previous tier buyer. So he did purchase that from last Kickstarter. So that one was actually done by me, Mr. Andrew Dodge. Hats off to you again. We appreciate you. But you will get another one of those as well.
I dig it. That's just cool. I guess the campaign states the estimated delivery time being December. For something like that, for the portrait, is that December as well? Or I would assume maybe that would take longer.
For those, I mean, it all depends on how quick we can get them to draw. These usually pretty quick. One thing is we already have 6 pretty much is done. We're just kind of doing a couple edits here in terms of like dial whatnot, but that's pretty much done. So he'll have time to kind of get that ready. But in terms of the delivery, just because we have to package it all together, once we're sending everything out, we'll send it all to you at one time.
Beautiful. And again, knock on wood, I hope all goes well with the printing and the delivery and all that stuff. I can never do that enough in any of these. But that is sick. You guys have some wicked tiers. Folks, get in on it. Enjoy it. Get yourself put into a comic. Get yourself as an infected. Whatever makes you happy, go for it. Or, hey, if you just want a digital issue of a comic you want to check out, $5, go for it. So, yeah, okay. Brain's just worrying here.
No, don't worry.
I guess Trey, what I want to ask then is, when it comes to the fan response, I've come to understand that with Kickstarter, you can see who is a returning backer, who's a first time backer. Do you find you get a lot of returning backers, or is it sort of a mix of both? And yeah, sort of what's that response, I guess, feel like for the team?
I'd say at least our experience, we've had an even amount of returning, and then quite some new, which is good. So we always love to have people come back and come and partake again. But I think when you can reach a new backer, we've seen there's something very fulfilling about, oh, there's another person who's given us a chance who where they didn't or whatnot. But yeah, it's kind of split down the middle. Even if it was one way or the other, if we had it all returning, I'd still be completely satisfied with that. I mean, we appreciate it. It means you guys like what we're doing. Hopefully, we're giving it back to you guys as well. Yeah, either or, I think we're pretty psyched about it.
That's cool. And another cool thing I like to ask, because the indie comics community is, as much as I can say, I try and support Canadian creators. You, Trey, you're not Canadian. A lot of the folks that I interview try and keep it 50-50 split or more in the favor of Canadians, but I do still interview a lot of folks from the States. I've interviewed folks from England and all sorts of different places. So yes, your fan base, do you find it's mostly people based in the States? Do you find you've got a couple Canadians? And I guess maybe what's like the most unexpected location you've had someone order your book from?
I would say it is mostly in the States, and that also might be, at least this one, I think we're gearing more towards like distribution in the States, because I think last time when dealing with like, international deliveries, things can get kind of mixed up in terms of not just like paying for something to be shipped out internationally, but also delivery, because at least to me, the more hands it has to go through, the less likely it is to arrive in a satisfactory condition. But we had one or a couple of backers that were international, and the exact country is escaping me. But just the fact that somebody thousands of miles away can say, "Hey, that was cool," and they want to buy something from us, I'm like, that's absolutely fantastic. But I never say, you should have a project just for one demographic, because you never know who's going to like something more. There's plenty of stories out there where it didn't do well in one location, they moved to another location, and it just popped off. So wherever who likes what we do, we appreciate you, and then hopefully you'll enjoy what we have to come.
Hell yeah. I love your attitude, Trey. You are fantastic. One thing that this isn't something you can answer. Maybe based on some of the fan response, the likes, the tweets, stuff like that you've got, or comments on stuff. I'm wondering if maybe because it has a more manga look to it, maybe you'll get more manga fans. Maybe, especially with say One Piece, the live action that came out.
Right.
Maybe you'll have folks who went from live action to anime One Piece and are now looking for manga. Maybe they'll click in and like it. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I like that you're the shift that's happening in the story and the creative team. Yeah, have you noticed anything like that when it comes to who likes your posts and stuff like that?
There was one situation, really. It's because I'm not a huge social media person. Not the right job to have that. But when we did the previous issue 5, because we had a different style before that. It was more of like a in between of like an American style kind of drawing, and I'm like, all right, well, we wanted to kind of move to manga at some point. We kind of had to find ahead. So when I was drawing it, I tried to do this like fusion of American style and like manga style with number 5, and then I think it was one of Sam's brothers. He had this like I think it was like a forum or something like that of like manga readers, like anime watchers, and he showed them like a picture of what we had, and they were just like, "Oh, that looks great. It looks awesome. Oh, I want to read it." And I'm like, "Oh, but maybe if it wasn't like that, they probably might not have wanted to read it." So
yeah, it's so interesting. Like, I don't for it doing my show. I don't hear often, like too often, of creative teams switching up as much as you have. So one, I guess Trey and Sam, if you watch this in the future, because I get you're busy right now, obviously. Kudos to you and Sam for sticking to your guns, getting the series made. Whoa, relax there. Because I have heard of teams where having too many artist changes just sort of flatlines the book, and yet you guys keep plowing on and just trucking through and doing your thing, and finding amazing new artists while you're at it. So to me, I find that fascinating, and just from the way you're talking, Trey, I can tell you're going to keep going. We will get 7. We will get 8. So yeah, just again, kudos to you and Sam, because I like it.
much appreciated.
For sure. I guess one thing that I will ask then, I appreciate you don't do social media a ton, but if folks are out there and they want to check you out on social media, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? What's the best spot? And then maybe we'll give both Vin and Sam shout outs as well. Where's their most active spot?
Gotcha. So you can find us. We are on a few socials. We are on TikTok, Instagram. Twitter is a big one for us. That's where we're going to be most active. And you can follow us at Raze Comics. That should be the handle. And there should be a link tree to every other social as well there. So I would definitely say our most interactive is there. We do a lot of Twitter Spaces where we talk with the creators. Anyone wants to come on and chat with us or listen in, you're more than welcome to. You can also follow Sam as well. His handle 2% milk. If you want to give him a follow.
Okay. Is it? Hold on. Is it like 2% milk like that?
Should be like that. It might have changed because his profile actually got banned for an unknown reason. We're not too sure why, so we had to make a new account. I think he might have been hacked or something like that. But that was his Twitter handle. I'll probably get you the right one. We can tag the right one. But mostly the at Raze Comics will be mostly active on that. So we do pretty much daily posts, daily comments. So
I dig it. That way people can find you. And again, I'm going to start asking you the fun questions about Trey so people can get to know you. But once again, just sort of give them a summary. What's the least expensive option, and what's your favorite sort of higher end option that they can get it on for this book?
That was that last part.
What is your favorite of the higher end tiers that you have that people can get in on for Raze?
Gotcha. I would say my favorite for the higher tiers, I guess for me would be Adopt a Page. There's just something about, I just can't say enough. You own that page. That page you paid for. Everyone who reads it, they're reading your page. When I first heard the idea, I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Adopt a Page, what is that? But when they broke it down, I'm like, oh, that's such a cool concept of you own a part of Raze, essentially.
Yeah.
No royalties.
Yeah, good point. No royalties. That's awesome. And again, it's for the folks if they just want issue 6, $5. and if they want the catch up, it's $30, and they're all good. Or heck, you can go to Global Comics. You can use that link. You can go check it out, and go get yourself all horrified and scared for October. All right, so Trey, the fun questions. We've got about 15 minutes left total, a little bit less. So I guess we'll start with, I think, my favorite of these questions. Oftentimes, folks who create comics, such as yourself, also read comics, such as yourself. And us nerds, we tend to collect comics, figures, books, paraphernalia, memorabilia, a whole array of stuff. What is for you the thing that you have that makes you the most happy? Maybe not the most expensive, maybe not the most rare, but what's the thing that makes you the most happy that you have?
Most happy that I have. It's actually a tough question, but I would say I did get this gift recently, and it's of the original Dragon Ball series. The original one, it's like the first few, I think it was like 12 issues that they came out with. And for those who know me, that's my favorite series, the Dragon Ball Z series. I grew up watching that. That influences a lot of stuff that we do or we will do coming up pretty soon. So just to get the original version of that is just kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to touch it. I just kind of leave it in a safe spot.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just kind of like a ode to people I looked up to as far as like creating something.
Absolutely. That is. And is it the manga? Is it like a DVD collection?
It's the manga.
Oh, that is so
So
cool.
you're opening it from the right, you're reading to the left, the whole thing. So I'm like, this is just perfect. It's something I never asked for it, but once I saw it, I'm like, oh my god, this is. I never even knew I wanted this so bad.
That's like, well, whoever got it for you, damn fine job. That's such a cool gift.
Kudos to Sam for that.
Oh, well, go Sam. All right. That's so cool. And is it like happy belated birthday or something? Like,
I think that was a birthday gift.
I dig it.
Yeah. Yes, that was a birthday gift from. I forget. It was one or the other, but it's by far my favorite thing. Just to look at the cover, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I have these.
That's cool. Is it because I love the way that when it gets collected, that manga gets collected, because they do such a cool job of these. Is it like individual issues, or does it come in like a box where all the covers are all, or the spines all make an image?
It's like one big spine, and then just in between the pages, it'll say like what next issue you're on after that. So it's easy to carry around, but I don't know, it's the way to do it is just kind of good.
Hell yeah, that's sick. I guess another question I'll ask for you is, I mean, maybe we have the answer now, but between writing a comic, doing a day job, whatever else it is that you do, have family, friends, dogs, cats, fish, whatever. When you have time for yourself, what is it currently that you're reading?
So currently, and this is all going to be comic related in a sense.
I dig it.
Now they're not comics that I'm reading, but so a lot of what we do in Raze is we try to bring a lot of like science and the facts to the things that we're doing.
Oh,
So it's not just something that that would be cool, but also can we do that? So I just picked up 4 volumes, Writer's Guide to Medicine. Anyone who has anything like remotely going on, it helps with any kind of story. Really, it goes over symptoms, how do you fix said ailments, and just all the kind of things that would go into writing. Essentially, anything. What is a stab wound? How do you heal that? If you break a rib, how long does it take to heal from that? So I'm just kind of reading through those to make sure that we are airtight.
This is cool. I didn't even know that's a thing. And thank you to Natalie Dale, MD, for writing them. Dude, this is actually like they've got like introductions, settings and characters. They've got illness and injury. They've got mental illness. Damn.
And Writer's Guide to Weapons too. I only have one version of that. I haven't gotten to that one just yet, but I just feel they kind of go hand in hand, you know.
The things that do the damage and the damage itself.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like, I'm so curious. Like, are they written like a text where it tells you like symptoms to be expected, boom, at X time, or like how's that broken down?
So they do a lot of paraphrasing, so it's a bit easier to understand. So I mean, they have like a glossary of like medical terms and whatnot, but they'll break it down as to how to actually use it. And they'll give examples like, oh, when you've seen the show, and they'll say, oh, this guy got hit on the head, he's got amnesia, and then you hit again and he remembers. That doesn't work. That's not how it works. So this is the correct way to use it. They'll go over things like, oh, how to paint the setting. If you're in a hospital, this is the things you're going to see. These are the things that they're called. So it just kind of throws to you in a way that's easy to understand. You know, it's not a lot of like paragraphs and pages. It's just kind of like a basic, hey, this is it. This is
That's genius. Like, that's such a cool book. Like, one of the other questions that I ask folks sometimes is, you know, what kind of research goes into this or stuff like that? Because like I've interviewed one of the people I interviewed, or one of the people on the team anyway, is an archivist, or works with archives, and he writes a story that's based in World War One. So I was like, clearly, research you must already know because of your job, but like what, you know? Mm-hmm. So I should have asked you that question because that's such a cool answer. And just for the folks out there, I am going to put this up. There we go. So you can hop on Amazon, and this is the mental illness book. But that's basically what you're after. Natalie Dale's the author, and run you $20. Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
This is stuff like, this is why I love what I do, because I get to learn so much cool stuff and stuff that you never think about, right? Like a lot of people, I feel they see a comic on a table at a con that someone's spent a lot of time making, and they don't understand it. They don't go like, you know, what went into this, but like learning that was cool. Then Trey, I guess my last question for you for tonight is going to be maybe a little sentimental, I hope. What's been your favorite part about your sort of journey with Raze so far?
I guess my favorite part. All right, so it's kind of like a two-part answer. So I mean, holding it in my hand is just the greatest feeling, because this is a thing that we started back in 2007. I think I was 13 when we started this project. So I'm 28 now, if that gives you any indication of how long we've been doing this. So to kind of keep this piece of your childhood with you and just seeing how it grows, because when we first wrote this, believe me, it was terrible. it was awful. But, you know, now that we're kind of going through step by step and just seeing what it's turning into, those moments where you're reading an issue, the ones you guys haven't seen just yet, but when we read these back, I'm like, wow, this is really good. You know, we took something that was bad and we made it something that was good. It's just this weird thing of like, we get excited. Like, it's our own project. I know what happens in the story, but I get excited when I read it because I'm like, wow, that's actually turning something really good. So for me, that's the funnest part.
That is so cool. I'm glad to hear it. And again, I think it just speaks to your passion about the project, and that you're keeping it fun for yourselves, like, because it's so important, I think. But yeah, Trey, absolutely, I wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show tonight and talk with us about Raze number 6, which folks can support on Kickstarter now.
That's right. Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Just like last time, it's been just as fun. I appreciate it. And thanks so much.
Hell yeah. And for the folks out there on YouTube land, one, the name on the screen right now, go punch it in the Kickstarter, go get your books. $5 is the most inexpensive option. Frankly, get yourself drawn into the book because that's way cooler. And remember, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Adios.
Golden age to present, digest to oversize. Never miss new comic day. Yeah, no surprise. So where's my no prize? Check the letter columns. Can't find issue 2? Collect a problem.